That's what I was asking. I noticed.
This looks live.
Eric, are you going to be streaming here?
Nice.
Why does Discord open up different than the way I closed it?
All right, invite to send to this live.
Got it.
I don't want to see these. I got a minute 50. Set it up the way I want it.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Jason, on
Yeah.
I heard the greens are the goal, the cadence goal in that section.
100 to, it's like 100 to 110.
And then on when you're in the off, the 5-minute off, what are you doing there?
90.
Okay.
85 to 95.
85 to 95, there you go.
Really?
Somebody's feedback.
Me, I am. I'll fix it in a second.
All right, Eric.
All
Coach,
right,
invite
there.
sent.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the cadence goal in the green?
85 to
100 to
95 at
120.
the low, and the 100 and 110 on the high side.
And the red is standing sprints.
Yeah, they're like 10 seconds though. You can totally do it in erg.
Okay, it's not me doing the feedback.
Talk. Who's feedback?
Check.
Must be gone.
Microphone check, microphone checker.
Cheeseburger.
All right, we're all good. The gremlins are gone.
I don't know. I heard feedback.
Lunches,
Feedback.
lunches,
Feedback.
interviewed by the pool.
Feedback.
That's you, dude.
I know. No, I just kept saying feedback.
Change your word.
Delayed feedback.
Echo.
There should be on-screen instructions for the cadence, at least on my version. There's been every interval.
Okay. I just threw it out there as I was yakking early.
Delayed feedback.
It's Nate.
All right, let's unmute all our channels here. Good morning to everybody on Zwift Live. Got a nice group of riders here. I think we left the pen with 83 riders this morning. 83 riders going to be tackling this high cadence 555 workouts. Got a couple leg openers here at the beginning, 10-second sprints, and we've got some high cadence work above 100 RPM for 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So definitely going to be something to test the legs if you don't normally ride at this cadence. So welcome and thanks for joining in. Got 3 streams going on. We've got Eric Denon there on the bottom right, Justin Wagner on the bottom left, and we've got me, Jason Flores, there on the top. Thanks for joining in, and next time you see one of these Endurance Lab workouts, click join. Join us on this workout.
It's a workout, and Justin can't resist being at the front.
I'm doing the walk.
Everything serious.
I'm just doing what the man says.
Did you turn southern all of a sudden? The feedback.
It must have been the feedback.
Uh-oh, must not turn erg on. Can't do it in the middle, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Up arrow. Up arrow.
Yeah.
Up arrow.
Up arrow.
Yeah, there's...
Up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow. John,
I believe it's up
Much
arrow.
feedback.
John Sparrow?
Up arrow.
We did
Up
see.
arrow.
Arrow.
That
Arrow.
Is that
Arrow.
his name?
You
Arrow.
guys are hilarious.
Daryl? What?
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
How's everybody legs feel? Itchy?
Like they need a rest.
That's not how they're supposed to feel on Wednesday.
No, mine are feeling great.
Did you guys ride the KISS EU race yesterday?
No comment. No comment.
No, we had a low prescribed cadence workout yesterday.
Nope.
We did as told. We didn't race the whole race. We only did 2 laps. We may not have followed the instructions to not go hard, but we only did 2 laps.
We didn't chase down any groups.
No, because you were the group.
Well, Greg was the group.
Can't believe you guys pulled on us. We're gonna get in trouble.
We literally had.
I'm never.
We had to
gonna be
bully
back in
Greg.
this game.
We had to bully Greg to stop riding. It was like, no.
Yep.
That's why espresso's perfect. It was only 1 lap, guaranteed.
Yeah, and the rule was we can't go hard for the full lap. I drafted for
Was
at
that-
least 10 seconds of the lap.
Was that the rule? Okay.
That was the rule. That's what I heard.
'98 of us. Not bad.
98? How come people got late
99.
join?
Late join, late
I'd say
join.
99.
That's
yeah,
nice.
I'm 24th of '98, I think it says. '96. One of the.
Good morning, Jim.
98.
That's weird they don't match between us.
Right?
That is
It's
weird.
either a 6 or an 8. I'm too far away to see, but 96, 98.
Could be
Old man
9.
eyes.
Jason,
Yeah.
get on that.
99. Somebody else join.
He needs a new prescription. Oh, I get
Oh.
99 now.
Huh, I wonder if
Okay.
there's how many late join available.
I know.
S. Noguchi has less distance than all of us. Same with B. Washburn.
K-Bone.
100!
Oh, it's growing like gangbusters!
101, baby.
102.
Nope, no 102 for me.
Are we trying to perform that we demonstrate that we know how to count, or what are we,
Well, we were trying to demonstrate that you know how to read, but John proved that wrong.
Hey.
all right.
Anybody know one?
No, if you would have spent
Better not.
time with Quan on Monday, it didn't seem like it. You couldn't walk a straight line.
First time counting this high while keeping my shoes on.
All right.
Must have been a good meetup with Bussy.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's not on, but I do want to give them award him the award for having A category walking pace. I could not keep up with that guy. He walks like he's running.
He was excited with Disneyland.
Come on. There is no one in the park. It's like 10 o'clock, and he's running from ride to ride. I'm like, I'm trying to eat.
Get him in, come on.
Was he like,
Come on, Jason, let's go.
Hand him a bike.
Yeah. He's like, if we do this, and you do that, and we do that, and we do this, we can get 5 rides in. Da-da-da-da. I'm like, whoa, I'm just trying to eat a beignet, dude.
We all know it was a churro.
He makes me
How many
proud.
churros did he have? Yeah, that's the question.
One, he's going
Nothing
for.
beats a churro buzz.
can we get a picture with Elsa, Jason, please?
Let it go, man. Just let it go.
We did do the mandatory ride on the King Arthur carousel, so we did that. That was
Oh,
fun.
that should have been live streamed. That would have been hilarious.
We did record it. We did record it. So we'll have to bring it up. All right, folks. We are 2.5 minutes away from our first sprint here. Good thing about the workout module, no one's going anywhere. We're gonna put out everything we've got.
Downside.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like a challenge for Justin.
Yeah, really. It's time to break the module.
We've got a lot of new interesting flags today in the group. This red with a blue stripe flag. Trinidad Tobago.
Yeah, great move yesterday on the lookout.
Good morning, Taya.
Hi, everyone.
This is Taya's way of viewing her TSS. She's here on the live stream. I don't know what the conversion rate is of watching versus actually writing.
It's a 20% modification.
No,
So
it's 1-to-1.
Yeah,
one to one.
She's 1-on-1? Okay.
Yeah. One. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
She's good. She's good.
She's good.
Put it in Training Peaks.
Type it in.
What time is it there? Is it close to here? I don't even know what time it is there.
She's 4 or 5 hours ahead of Pacific Coast, depending on
Where?
time of year.
Very cool.
Well, she's in Chicago, so she's what, 7:30 or 8:30?
She's in Brazil.
Oh, she left. Oh, okay.
He's being courted by the domestic team there
Okay.
to come and lead.
Ela está no Brasil viajando.
All right.
Não
here
está
we-
trabalhando duro.
We're going 40 seconds. 40 seconds, everybody.
Someone's already in there to their sprint. Who was that?
30 seconds here. We're going for 10 seconds. Trying to spin those legs out.
Oh, I see the red banner in front of me.
Here we go, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Really try to open up those legs. Here we go!
Oh, out of the saddle? Man, I don't think that wattage pole is high enough to get out of the saddle.
Yeah, seriously. I was 200 watts over.
Evil elf wattage.
200 watts over, you're gonna fail the star.
Yeah, I am. I did.
It's going to be a lonely ride for me. Just had a delivery at the door, so I had to get off the bike.
I thought they had the key to your house, Andy. What happened?
Unless it's new bike toys, it can wait.
It was a crate of beer for Christmas. I'm not allowed to touch it till Christmas.
Acceptable.
Here we go. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, BJ. Thanks for joining in. The Endurance Lab workout 555 high cadence.
Getting a little bit of static, Batman.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix my headphones as we speak. I'm working on it. My earphone plug is
Can
warm.
we call this speaking?
It's a nuclear reactor, man. It's open.
I'll fix it between sets.
There you go.
We are between sets. Get to fixing.
Here we go. Get on it.
Here we go. Thanks, Beth. Yeah, we try to bring the group suffering all together as much as we can.
But these sprints are really doing us in, too.
Yeah, they will.
About ready to pop Eric, I can tell.
Yeah.
As he responds.
I'm thinking,
yeah, I'm really hanging on for dear life.
They say we're supposed to stand, but honestly, I can't stand. It's too low. ERG caps you off.
Ah.
Here we go, babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we hear you.
Yeah, there's a handful of us using ERG. And the other half classic trainings.
So last night I noticed that you know these Aftershocks headphones we like so much? Apparently they have a new design. Like lighter.
Oh, great.
Wraps around the ear better.
We all need to get.
I know. I'm like, dang it.
Dang it.
Lighter. Wraps around the ear better, supposedly. Supposedly sounds better, but it's like $20 more expensive.
Of course.
The question is, how does the mic compare? 'Cause
Right.
These headphones are great. They're great, except for the mic.
Yeah.
The headphone's great.
I don't see any need to change. I mean, I've worn these things for
All right.
4 or 5 hours at a time, no problem.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that was interesting.
When Justin streams for 4 to 5 hours, the fact that mic doesn't work is a benefit to us.
No big deal, really.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, hold tight.
Tim God, missing the workout.
Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
You rode with me this morning.
Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you.
Somebody tell that guy up barrel.
Jim, up arrow.
So, because it's my newspaper, I never got the bird set up, I guess.
100. 100 to 110. Amp it up, boys.
Yeah, my herd wasn't turned on, so I can't even turn it on. Ran into a kicker yesterday. The up arrow, all it does is increase the
Resistance. All right. We're trying to get a nice high cadence without bouncing up and down here. Nice control. Keep that core engaged. We're going 5 minutes here.
Watch his hair. That's his dead bouncing giveaway.
Oh, I've got my hat on. I can take my hat off. Let's
Oh,
see.
he's got a hat on. Cheating.
All right, I gotta keep it smooth. Keep it smooth. A bit above 100.
Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering.
Man, I keep getting birthday calls.
Can't make
Lord.
those collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
Is that a humble brag?
I know. It's like we can sing "Happy Birthday" here in the slow interval.
Oh, they're asking me what happened to my birthday. I said lactic acid.
Here we go.
Oh my God, God.
Hey Wallstrom, thanks for joining us on Mixer.
So I had to stop, so I'm not in the group, and I'm still 65th out of those 112.
Are we trying to stay in Z2 or is it okay to go up to Z3?
Heart rate or power?
Follow the wattage target.
Yeah, try to
Whatever
hit.
you want, as long as you're at 110 RPM.
I just meant heart rate.
Oh yeah, don't worry about the heart rate.
This is an aerobic workout. Cardio system. Leg and muscle memory.
That's right. Just dial in that neuromuscular side, that firing pattern.
Letting the aerobic systems know, hey, this is normal.
Oh, thanks, Scotty Weaves.
Nice.
Oh, it's a host. Thank you, Scotty.
To find that sweet spot, right where you got the cadence where you want it. Challenge yourself.
Wallstrom. Working, watching the live stream, and now also ordered tickets to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Who said men could not multitask? The women said it to answer the question specifically. Ah!
All right. Got 50 seconds left here.
Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun games.
And bad karaoke.
First warning, next time you get server muted.
Yeah, next train you get server muted.
All right. Talk to you later, Tim. Thanks for joining in on the live stream there. All right. 85 to 90 here, guys.
Ah.
Man, what a bunch. Are we following the
Oh, it just keeps growing.
119.
Up to 120? How does it keep growing?
30-minute late start, right?
Late join.
Huh.
121.
Awfully quiet during recovery here. All right.
Workout.
Yep.
Normal, I guess.
Proceed.
Proceed.
Oh, we've been given the go-ahead.
Workout
Green light
approved.
given.
Workout approved. Workout
Also
approved.
green light approved. Green light.
Approved. We can proceed. Yep.
There you go.
Nope. 125.
I have 124. And I'm the ride leader, so my number counts, not yours.
I see 124. 2 votes to 1.
Eric just doesn't have the difference between a 4 and a 5. It's his business stuff.
And I'm at the front, and it says I'm in 6th place.
This is recorded. This is recorded. Check the tapes. Come on.
Check the tape.
Someone's giving me the Sagan elbow. I'm like,
Oh, just went up to 125.
No,
Delayed increase.
Eric is cheating.
Uh-oh, I see the arch up there.
All right. About a minute to our next interval. If you just joined us here on Zip Live, thanks for joining in. We're doing Endurance Lab 555 high cadence. We're working on that high neuromuscular spin at above 100 RPM. Look.
Eric, I know why we didn't see 125 right away. Because we're so far ahead of the ride leader that the speed of light takes that long for us to see the new rider.
Yeah,
We
that's
dropped
true.
in next to the ride leader, and then it eventually went up for us.
Yeah.
You got it.
Alright. Whatever it comes down to, Justin, is I don't know what it is. You're delayed for some reason.
It sounds kind of like Greg's underwater.
yeah. I'm afraid of where his microphone is.
Where's your mic today, Greg?
Back pocket. Don't have gas.
All right, 15 seconds here. We're gonna spin it up to 100 to 110. Quan is posing 1,000 RPM on this next interval for us.
1,000, okay.
Wallstrom, yes, the wagon is on. John Moore is going to lead it because I'll be out of town.
This better?
There we go, yeah?
A little bit, yep.
Alright. I'm off the tracks, Mike, so that's why.
There's the problem.
$1,000.
Yep, same time slot, Wallstrom. I think the Turkey Day ride overlaps the last hour of the wagon, so I'd suggest people move to that when it starts.
Eric Min's ride?
Yeah, Eric Min's Turkey Day ride.
It's actually a workout.
Yeah. Which means you don't have to get a workout to stay in the group. Figure that one out.
Yeah. Which means no flyers, too. Everybody together.
What would be cool is if we could do a group workout, and then on the last lap, break out of the group workout mode.
Nah.
Well, everybody quit at the same time.
Here we go. Here comes the fence. If you are not level 10, you are not invited.
Just bounce off.
Oh! 110 riders.
128 went up.
Someone was waiting for us on the other side.
129.
Again, speed of light.
Oh, this starts to get uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah. Heart rate definitely goes up for me.
Yeah.
Position in the groupwork house is really buggy.
Is it?
Yeah. It knocked me first on 130, and I can see at least 6 rider in front of me.
Huh.
It says I'm in 4th place, and
There's
no one
one.
is in front of me. $130.
Just under 2 minutes here. Keep that RPM up. Over 100.
This higher RPM feels harder than a threshold interval.
Yeah.
I think that was the intent. Easy on the legs, hard on the cardio.
One minute. Just about there, folks. Keeping that cadence. Spin, spin, spin. 100 plus is what we're looking for.
Hell, it's uncomfortable by how quiet it's getting in here.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
$133.
Eric, you agree?
135.
134.
15 seconds to the end here. We go back down to 85, 90 RPM. Here we go.
That'll work.
Going down. Ah. It's weird how slow 90 feels.
Right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
You're like, if 90 feels like you're just grinding.
Yeah, totally. Everybody's so quiet. Why is everybody so quiet? Talk to me, guys.
Everything seems like work. No matter what interval we on.
It does.
Hey, Jason, if we find another C or two for John's group, can we still add him?
John Mora? Yeah.
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 All right, I'm going to put out a plea on the group as soon as we're done here, see if we can't attract 1 or 2 more.
Oh wow, this group is huge. Look at all the way around the corner.
Yeah.
Alright, about to enter into the jungle.
I gotta turn my music on. You guys are too quiet.
Loud, 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 loud. Is that better?
Justin will sing to you.
What do I normally talk about?
Careful what you ask for, man.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized
Face
Tubes
cowboy is
activated.
there.
Oh yeah, that program Che Volume is so good.
Yeah.
No standing one-leg drills? Man, the lab is starting to get sloppy.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know about that.
One-leg drills were Monday.
I don't know about that.
Not
Yeah, standing
up.
one-legged drills.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
You notice everybody went dark on Monday and Tuesday, nobody talking because nobody wanted to say if they did or didn't do the one-day workout.
I did it halfway.
I did
I
not.
heard John complaining about the whole thing.
I did it until I blew up.
I think it does need some refinement. We're putting it back in the lab next round.
That's cool. It was good for me overall. Probably don't want my legs a little flat.
I did it in Magnum Monday. Yeah, one-legged once. Sure.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do the final sprint.
One-legged.
Standing one-legged.
Hands up.
I was hardcore and I jumped up my one-legged drill and did both the right and left at the same time.
There you go, Andy. Doubled up. That's dedication right there.
Look at all these people. I feel like I'm in Worlds or something.
We screamed to a kind of screeching halt at the top of that little rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting for the whole blob to get over.
I got spit out the back.
Move it, Blob.
Here we go.
Oh,
Hold it up.
blob unhooked. Here we go. Speed ramping up.
5 minutes of moaning.
That's
Pretty
right.
much. All right.
At least they fixed the dust back here so you could kind of see now in a big group. Kind of.
Oh, it's better than it was. Before you couldn't see anything.
Yep.
Don't worry, they only fixed it for group workouts so that you could stay in the draft. Not for
Is Batman's mic fixed? Now I can't hear it.
Should see.
Hey,
I don't know.
It's a new.
I'm always having to turn you down or up because of your fat.
Yeah. I try to keep the fan on as long as possible.
At least you don't have to turn it on.
Dang it, I beat me to the punch.
Yep, guess the fan's back. You're going back down.
FYI, I'll turn it off.
This takes such an awful lot of concentration.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying the view. It's pretty wonderful. I want to take a picture.
Who's Space Cowboy?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. I like that.
I'm incognito.
I actually call him Maurice.
So
Most people just don't call you
your
at all.
initial. So you're race cowboy. You're speedy race cowboy.
2 minutes there. Keep those legs spinning. 100 plus.
Boy, it's got an air in it.
90 seconds.
So, race tomorrow,
Negative. No more. I know how much you love Box Hill.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ain't that bad. That's good.
It is when you're happy. $110 plus, dude.
30 seconds. This is what the backside of water looks like.
Humble brag. I'm cool.
There you go. 2 more.
Going down.
You did set him up for that, totally. Wallstrom suggests the SCR race today. Twice up the volcano climb.
There we go.
Ooh.
Let's see that very often.
Might I suggest mountain repeats? Might.
Big loop.
Alright. For those riders that are in the workout here, we're about halfway through. You gotta get a chance to get off that saddle. Drop a couple gears, stand up, give yourself a chance to break, and then jump back in. This is the time to do it if you're gonna do it.
That sounds nice, actually. Yeah.
Ooh, I feel that blood going in my nose.
Below 85, though.
Jason, the green cars are supposed to be high cadence, right?
Correct. Green or high.
Correct, green gets you high. Oh, wait.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
That wasn't the... Sorry, that wasn't the question.
Simmer down.
You know, one thing that Leslie would not let any cast member at Disneyland forget was that he is a shareholder of the Disneyland empire.
Can we tell everyone?
Yeah, you know, I'm a shareholder. I'm a shareholder.
Keep losing money.
They're like, hey, why don't you hold this share, grab my broom, and do my job?
Wow, I'm going to leave that one alone.
That's what she said.
Come on, folks. Janitor.
It is.
Not Mally.
Oh, don't give him a hard time for spelling.
So we are talking in Discord.
I got it.
I got it.
But there was a moment when the fireworks at Disneyland started, and I think it was a genuine, almost duck under the table moment for Bussy because he couldn't quite figure out what it was yet.
How many drinks did he had at that point?
By the time I got there, all I know is there was like 8 glasses on the table when I got there, and I was only 40 minutes late.
Only. That's
Wow.
what 40 minutes looks like.
We're over halfway there, guys. You can do it. Don't give up now.
All right.
Eye on the prize.
There it is.
I am a prize.
Eye on the prize.
Oh. Slightly different. You
Nate's
own
the prize. He's the prize.
Nate is the prize. We got our eyes on him.
You complete this, and he joins your Worlds team.
Do it to it.
Here we go.
Oh, I like this 88. I don't want to go higher.
Dude, I'm doing 80. You wuss.
Let's go.
It said 85 to 90. I'm following
Yeah.
the rules.
Don't you know about
Yeah.
overeating?
I don't know about that.
Up, up, up. Oh, legs are starting to feel tired now.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to feel.
Flop.
Wow. Hey, what happened to Eric Shen? He doesn't come around very often anymore.
Now stuck in court with name settlement issues.
Oh, he changed his name, huh? Everybody's changed their name back except Andy, who's locked in for 30 days.
I don't want my teammates to get confused.
How many Erics are
Don't
on
worry.
this team anyway?
You'd be so far ahead of him, there'd be no confusion.
John, how many different team club names do you have in your title?
3.
Vision.
Get a few more in there.
Yeah. Can we get Road Grand Tours and Trainer Road thrown in there, please?
Nope. Good. How about the big ring? Throw in the big ring.
It's so nice
Maybe a
now
little
that
full gas
scroll is
action?
so slow.
It is slower.
You got a long name. Stare at it for 60 seconds before it scrolls across the read.
Ooh, and mine currently fits without any scrolling.
Ah, that's pretty good.
We should just put a bunch of spaces after the last part of your last name. So most of the time,
it'll be
you
nothing.
can't read your name. Huh, my name wasn't showing up? That's strange.
They probably filter that many out.
We'll put a parentheses at the very end.
All right, halfway there.
Oh yeah.
For me? Who is that?
We're gonna be. Oh yeah, no.
Funny how all the B1 Facebook messages in the chat stopped. Like 10,000 messages when I woke up. There's nothing. What's up? Greg, it sounds like you're talking out of your back pocket.
I'm not sure I could understand that.
Don't flatulate, please.
Here we go. 90 seconds.
Greg and Tex need to get this mic situation figured out so we can talk to each other on Saturday.
Wait. Better?
Yeah. Great.
Alright. It's the tracks. Maybe I need to buy the new truck.
I disable the
You can be the
microphone
test.
driver on the Trex.
He doesn't use his phone.
Yeah,
I thought he was using his phone.
Yeah, I'm using my phone.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get the tracks to pair with my computer.
Oh, we. Huh. You have that. Justin, send him the extra dongle.
Yeah, I've got the dongle. I just could never get it to see it.
That's what she said.
Some.
Here we go.
Maybe I need to have Bob log into my computer again.
Yeah.
All right, heart rate at 155.
Ah.
Finally, Eric showed up. We've had Denning here for a while, but Eric's finally here.
Hey.
First, second, Eric?
Or the second, first, Eric.
Yeah, I'm the second first.
No! Okay.
There might still be enough time for a late start. For a late start on this workout.
Today I'm the creepy second Eric who's just going to listen to y'all pretty hard while I do it.
Hey, check this out. My ride time at the top of the screen is reflecting time I sat in the pen.
Huh.
Yeah, for workouts, it includes the pen. I've noticed that on prior ones. Yep, it's not like regular race for rides.
You get TSS for it too?
Yeah, I'm at 22 kilometers.
Yep, you do.
My distance isn't longer, it's just time.
Because you weren't going anywhere, you were in the pen.
Right. No, come on. That's not fair.
So you're telling me miles while I'm on a trainer don't count?
Is that what you're saying, Eric?
Not what I'm saying. That doesn't
Only
count
miles
as
on a
workout.
virtual trainer don't count.
This kid's confusing. Yeah, we've had a warm front come through. It's normally so cold down here in the basement, and it's all warm and humid today. It sucks.
I had the same this morning too. It was like 10 or 20 degrees warmer than normal this morning.
Yeah, it's 20 degrees warmer and it's super humid down here now.
Wallstrom says, TSS for waiting in the pen? Even ODZ workouts are rigged! Guilty.
Sounds like the snake's on a Trex headset too. What kind of mic you got there?
Toledo just went live. Adam just went live, Justin.
If I invite him, it'll mess up your overlay.
I can change it. Oh, whatever.
And we're gonna have to bring it down in like 10 minutes for What's Up with Power.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Discord.
What's Discord?
Google it.
Really? What's it called? That's what said.
Technically, Jackson, giving him the ODZ.com/Discord because that has instructions.
Oh, okay.
The other one's a direct link to the server, which you won't know anything. You won't have to do it.
Got it.
He saw both.
After
Hopefully,
that.
he won't be confused.
I'll remember. I'll reach out to him after this.
Yeah. He's got Haskell's video, which is a good intro for
Here we go.
Here we go. 4
Getting
seconds.
it up.
Now, keep switching back.
It's really bad. That's what I'm saying. You and Tex got 3 days to figure out this mic situation so I can hear you.
Aren't I stable right now?
Oh, I don't know. I've got your volume down so much because your fan's so loud. I can barely hear you. Try turning you back up a little. Okay, well, just your gate situation then.
Oh, did you guys see Justin Wagner's riding with us? I saw him.
The Justin Wagner?
I saw an interview with him the other day.
Man, I saw that too.
Where is he? Hey, let's get his autograph.
He's super famous. He won like Washington State Cat 4s, I think, last year.
It was Cat 5. It was better than Cat 4. It was Cat 5.
Cat 6. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's.
How's my sound? How's my
There's on.
volume
Oh, better. Better again.
now? I went to the Apple.
Yeah, that's better.
I went to the Apple earbuds.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, don't miss that fluff piece on Justin Wagner on swiftblog.com, you know?
That fluff piece.
I thought it was clickbait.
Well, I didn't send you the right picture if it was clickbait.
Yeah, you have one with you like throwing your mic or something.
I do have one showing a little bit of the base layer. You could show a little base layer.
Just a little. A little tantalizing base layer.
Halfway through, guys. Those legs going.
Hey, see you, Wallstrom. Wallstrom's heading out. It's getting hard now.
Getting hard now.
Seems easier to me.
Somebody's coasting down. Who's not spinning? Who's not spinning?
Stupid kicker giving me away.
Airplane landing.
Had to hop off and turn on the fan.
A prestigious operation like Zwift doesn't have remote control fans?
Hey man.
Yet.
Amazon Prime is delivering it today.
Oh yeah.
Wi-Fi controlled, baby.
Wi-Fi.
Alexa, turn the fan on.
Yeah.
Let's introduce some more 2.4 gigahertz disruption in the workout room.
You only have one fan, Jason? I have lots of fans.
You have a drone army.
Yeah.
All in your mind.
Well,
why would you turn them on?
Yep.
That's creepy.
When you're Justin Wagner, you can't help but turn on the music.
I don't know how to interpret that.
All about that bass.
5 more? We gotta do 5 more?
5 more RPM.
Oh. Okay, 110.
Okay, we've got 11 minutes till What's Up with Power goes live.
Tell me when you want to go.
Well, until we start the stream. So
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
cut out here after the first 2-minute cooldown.
Okay.
Be sure.
It's so strange how the feel of 85 RPM feels like 65.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, morning, Mitch. Thanks for joining in here. Just about finishing our last block. Ready to cool down, and then we're all going to What's Up with Power after this. But it's okay. Justin, what do you do if you miss the live stream of What's Up with Power?
Well, you can watch it afterwards on YouTube or in the podcast while you're driving, working, doing the dishes, what have you. With your favorite podcast app and search for The Endurance Lab.
There you have it. There you have it. So you can listen to us all the time, everywhere you go, wherever you are.
Wow, I'm so happy. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Okay, take 2. You didn't quite sell that. Try that again.
Didn't quite sell it. All right, recue.
Oh.
Wow.
A little over the top. Take it down the middle this time. Yeah, yeah.
I love ODZ!
Perfect. It's a wrap.
Ship it! Toledo. What was that? Oh man.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Alright, so what was that stream?
I think he's asking for an explanation, Justin.
Oh, what was the scream? Oh. One sec. So, Jason was talking about our new podcast and how you can get it anywhere. And my first reaction was, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life to listen to you all day long. And they told me I didn't sell it enough. So that transformed into the scream you heard, which was classified as over the top. And I had to redo the commercial in a slightly more appropriate fashion. Middle
You
of the
gotta
road.
Billy Bass this thing.
I know.
Yeah, you gotta bass it a little bit.
It's a long cooldown.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do riders like?
Cool down yet.
So do riders prefer like just a 3-minute like ramp down so you can do what you want, or do you like prescribe like blocks for 5 minutes?
As long as it's low watts, I don't care.
Yeah, but we're not even in the cooldown. Now we are.
Now we are.
I
think either way is
like a
fine.
half hour.
I think they just need to match though, because especially the warm up. If somebody's done a workout and is expecting 10 minutes of warm up, and one of them is too short, that's the problem. Just so that they're the same.
The beginning and the end you're referring to, or just?
I'm mostly referring to the
workouts.
beginning, but
The beginning.
the end doesn't matter. I'm just talking about between workouts. Yeah.
Oh, you meaning? Oh, right. So use the same workout for all the workouts. Same warm up for all the workouts. What are you thinking?
Exactly.
Bingo.
Yep. If somebody does a couple workouts and then they get it on a new workout that has a different warm up or is a shorter workout that they weren't planning on, it's a lot more shocking, I think.
Yeah.
Just so they match.
there's a
I don't know if
question.
it really matters
I
that
got it.
much.
There's a
People
question if we always do the same
cool
workouts. There you go.
There you go.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Bringing down your live stream in 30 seconds, Jason. Want to do sign off? So I can...
Copy that. All right, for everyone on the live stream, thanks for coming in today. Catch us all throughout the week. We'll be back next week with another group workout. Next up, we've got What's Up with Power in just a couple minutes, so join us there. We'll be back on the live stream in just a couple minutes. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.
Did you know that your power meter could lie to you? Taylor, tell us what that's all about.
Corrupt data is the enemy of the power-based cyclist. You can use tools like Training Peaks and WKO4 to find those bad power spikes. particularly if you're using something like a left-sided power meter. Justin, don't you have a left-sided power meter?
Why, yes, I do. And if you have a left-sided power meter, there's a nugget of information you definitely need to know. So watch the show to find out what it is.
Throwing back and forth. Webb has to catch that wheel. How much does he have left in the tank? His heart rate is definitely going up, but this guy can put down some watts. His watts per kilo is fabulous. We are coming into the close of this race. Justin Wagner sitting on the wheel of his rival now. Adam Webb coming around, jumps on the wheel of Adam Boyko. They are starting to ramp it up, but Wagner goes 12.0 watts per kilo. Webb jumps on his tail here. We are seeing exciting stuff happening here as they come to the end here. Big finishes as they lock in here. We see this amazing view. Webb trying to catch on. He is closing the gap on Wagner. Wagner all out. Can he do it? Can he come up to this line? Webb on the tail. He's coming up. Wagner, it looks like he made, yes, and he passes him. Webb takes it from him at the end. Unreal. What an amazing finish. The king dethroned.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of What's Up with Power. My name is Justin Wagner with TeamODZ, and that person making racket in the back right now is Tex Divine. We'll get him to sort out that microphone, but nothing like shaming your friends when they're interrupting the live stream. Anyway, we are happy to have another episode. We got a live ride going on in Zwift right over here. We're going to be rolling out in about 45 seconds. We've got a host, a guest today, Taylor Thomas from Thomas Endurance Coaching, and he's going to be talking about strengths and weaknesses. How do we determine those objectively? And the conversation we're going to spur today is, hey, can we make our weaknesses become our strengths? So I think on that topic, we're going to discuss that quite a bit. First, we're going to have 15-minute teaching from Taylor, and then we're going to have 15 minutes of Q&A. So with that, I'm going to bring Taylor on the screen. Taylor, how's it going?
Hey, Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. So we are rolling out now. I'm going to hand you the slides, hop off the screen, and let you go to town.
Cool. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us. Like Justin said, today we're going to talk about determining your strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately, what do we do with that information? Once we have it. So, is there anything we can do from a training perspective to make those weaknesses more in line or closer to our strengths? So, we'll dive right in. There's a fair amount of density to cover. So, Justin, if you're not on the first slide, you can slide that over for me. So the first place we want to start, well, I guess the caveat is obviously that this is all power based, and so we're going to be looking at how to best utilize the power data that we have from training and from racing. So first place we want to start is with what's called the power profile. So the great thing about the power profile is that it is kind of the first step in helping to gain insight into our relative strengths and weaknesses, as well as our physiological systems or the physiological systems that are at work that make up whatever strengths and weaknesses we have as riders. So it's kind of, again, the first step and kind of a snapshot of what's generally the strengths and weaknesses and what's going on behind the scenes from the perspective of the systems in your body. Now, the reason we want to look at it this way and not any other way. So oftentimes cyclists and racers fall into the trap of looking at their performance in relation to whatever category, whatever race category they're in, and whatever their competition is doing. Now, as we know with power-based data, that all of our training, all the information that we receive from our power meter is hyper individualized, and so that's the way that we want to look at determining our strengths and weaknesses. So instead of saying this is what's common for a Cat 3 road racer, we want to say what's the best performance for me as a rider, and not compare that to another rider or standards within a particular category. So the idea is to be as individualized as possible, and like I said before, kind of drill down and focus on those physiological systems that are at work to produce the efforts that we need to train and race. So again, understanding yourself is the key. We want to make sure to use that power profile to critique and understand ourselves. That's really the most impactful way to utilize our available power data and the metrics that come along with that. Not comparison with other riders, or again, comparison within racing categories. So the 4 primary durations that the power profile is going to look at, you can see from the screenshot on the slide here. It's going to be 5 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and functional threshold power, FTP, or lactate threshold. So the reason that those durations exist is because they most closely correspond to key systems in the body. So your 5 second power is going to correspond to neuromuscular power. Your 1 minute is going to be anaerobic, your 5 minute VO2 max, and of course your FTP is going to be your lactate threshold. Now, it's important to remember that when you look at these durations, that you're not, those durations don't isolate those specific systems in the body, meaning that a 5 second power is not all neuromuscular. There's aerobic strength involved. There's anaerobic capacity involved. The same thing with an FTP level effort or an FTP duration effort. It's not all aerobic, right? There's some neuromuscular. There's some anaerobic. There's some VO2 max. So the body's very complex, and there's a lot of systems that work at any given time, but these durations do the best job of isolating and providing some insight into those particular systems. All right, next slide, Justin. So now that we know that the power profile is the best way, or the first step to look at identifying strengths and weaknesses, we need to figure out a way to test for that. So the testing protocol for calculating or constructing the power profile It's relatively lengthy in that there's several steps. For the purposes of this presentation, I won't go into great detail about the actual test. You can find it in Training and Racing with a Power Meter. It's online. It's a fairly standardized process, but there is several steps. Ultimately, all you're doing in that test is producing efforts to produce or to feed the power profile. So you're producing peak powers for that 5 second, 1 minute, 5 minute, and FTP, which you should really already have if you're training with power. So you've really already knocked out the lactate threshold effort. So we'll dive into kind of the specifics of what we're looking for. Strength to weight ratio, watts per kilogram, is really a critical metric for training with power in general. But as we start to look at the power profile and ultimately get into more detail about strengths and weaknesses, knowing what that watts per kilogram number means for you individually and what it means for you in terms of what duration you're strongest at is going to be really, really important. So if you're on Zwift, you're very familiar with that. They're using watts per kilogram as kind of the core metric to distinguish group rides and different efforts. So it's become something that's top of mind for most riders training with power, but just know that you should understand that and understand what it means for your strengths and weaknesses. So after you've performed the test and you've produced the efforts necessary to give you the numbers that you want for all of the key durations, we want to look at the peak powers. So understanding what those peak powers mean for each duration. So if you're producing really strong efforts in the 5 second category, and maybe your 5 minute or your lactate threshold efforts are lacking a little bit from a watts per kilogram perspective, then you start to understand that potentially your strengths lie in the neuromuscular and not so much in the VO2 max or the lactate threshold. Obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, you could have low sprint power, and you could have very high sustained power relative to your weaknesses and relative to your body weight. So you want to start to position those numbers in a way that they make sense to you and they make sense to the type of rider that you want to be, what your goals are, what your training goals are, what your racing goals are. So looking at those peak powers, starting to kind of paint the picture for yourself. Ultimately, those peak powers and that relationship that you see in that power profile will start to give you what's called a rider phenotype. So if anybody's using WKO4 software, you're familiar with the rider phenotype. But what this does is it is a way to kind of classify riders based on these strengths and weaknesses, or ultimately these kind of watts per kilogram for each duration. So you could be what's called an all-arounder. You could be a sprinter, a time trialist, a pursuiter. These are just names to provide some sort of classification to what it is you're best at. All-arounder, you're going to be pretty good at all of the powers. Again, 5 second, 1 minute, 5 minute, and lactate threshold. Time trialist, you're going to be good at sustained efforts. Pursuiter has their own classifications or their own strengths. Sprinter, obviously good at the lower end of the spectrum. So that's just a good way to kind of assign some sort of nomenclature to the rider to generally understand what they're best at. And then lastly, it's worth mentioning in the power profile that age isn't taken into consideration. So there is a normal degradation of performance. For men and women, typically after 30, things start to decline at some rate. Men a little faster than women, but it's there. It's something we all know exists. What's important to note is that it's probably not going to affect your gross strengths and weaknesses. So if you're a really good sprinter, you might be not producing the powers that you would have produced when you were 20 years old, but you're still going to have the propensity to be strong in that shorter durations. And then obviously on the other end of the spectrum, if you're a good time trialist or your lactate threshold is strong, then you're gonna remain strong in those areas. Just the gross power is not going to be the same as it would have been when you were younger. So doesn't change the strengths and weaknesses. Probably worth considering as you think about race strategies, as you think about race selection. Take age into consideration and what that means in comparison to the field that you're up against and to the terrain. Next slide, Justin. All right, so we're going to take the power profile and we're going to take it a step further. So the power profile, like I said, really great at identifying gross strengths and weaknesses. So what duration, generally, what physiological system in the body, generally, am I best suited for? And what does that mean for me as a rider? The fatigue profile takes things a step further, pinpoints exactly within those durations what types of efforts you're best suited for. So we'll dive into what that actually means and what I mean when I say that. So when in the power profile, if we're looking at 5 second, 1 minute, 5 minute, and 20 minute or FTP level efforts, and that's all we're looking at, the fatigue profile actually breaks those durations down. And you're able to see within those ranges or within a range within those systems in the body, what specific duration are you best suited for? So maybe your 5 minute effort isn't fantastic, but if you look at the fatigue profile, you might see that your 3 minute effort or your 8 minute effort is really strong. Conversely, maybe your 5 second power isn't great, but maybe you see that for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, you're able to sustain a high level of power. So that's what the fatigue profile does, is it breaks down those durations. You're able to see with a great deal of accuracy where it is exactly that you're strongest. So this is a phenomenal tool for race strategies, right? If you're thinking about when to break on a sprint, what a breakaway should look like, when to attack on a hill climb, knowing that you can produce your peak effort for, say, 3 minutes is gonna greatly inform your race strategy and ultimately inform your training strategy, because you're going to train to bolster those strengths. So fatigue profile, once you dive in, really, really valuable. So of course, we have to feed the fatigue profile the numbers that it needs. So we're going to need some more testing. If you've been training with power for a long time, several seasons, and you have a lot of historical data, specifically historical race data, then it's okay to cherry pick your peak numbers for the fatigue profile. If you don't have that, then you can perform testing just like you'll do for the power profile. Same thing with the power profile, or as the power profile. The testing protocol for producing the fatigue profile, kind of lengthy. I won't go into great detail about what that specifically looks like, but you can find that in Training and Racing with a Power Meter and online, just like the power profile. But ultimately, it's a series of 4 tests. It's gonna be 2 days of testing. If you need to produce those numbers, you'll take 1 day and you'll produce the efforts necessary for the neuromuscular and the anaerobic capacity. You'll usually rest for 1 or 2 days. The next day of testing, you'll do the VO2 and the lactate threshold testing. Again, you probably already have the FTP test, so you might just have to do the VO2 max effort. Again, the idea is that you're producing your peak maximum best powers to feed this model to then have a greater understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. So once you produce those numbers, basically you're just plotting those numbers and looking for relationships within those durations. So if again, say for the neuromuscular, if you're strong throughout from 5 seconds, 10 seconds to 20 seconds, and you're able to hold or with a very slight percentage degradation between 10 seconds and 20 seconds, that's going to tell you that you have a very strong fatigue resistance or very high fatigue resistance for the neuromuscular capacity. Same thing with lactate threshold. If you are able to extend your typical FTP 20-minute effort out to, say, 30 minutes or even 60 minutes, then that's going to give you a lot of insight into that lactate threshold aerobic capacity that's going on in the body. So looking for when it is that your power drops off, or how it is that your power continues to sustain itself throughout those ranges is really what the fatigue profile is all about. And you can start to see very clearly where it is you fatigue. You can, in training, you can extend that duration by prescribing intervals that push those boundaries. So whether that's, you're really good at 3-minute intervals, or you really have a really strong 3-minute power, and the 5-minute power is lacking, of course you can extend and build towards producing a strong 5-minute effort. So fatigue profile, extremely valuable, specifically for race day strategies and understanding exactly where it is you're strongest, and using that on the back end to inform your training prescription. Next slide, Justin. So when we get our numbers, we look at the fatigue resistance. There's categories of fatigue resistance. And these are, again, just tools to help you understand, much like the rider phenotype. These are just assignments that are going to help you understand the types of efforts you produced, where it is you need to focus your training, and maybe how it is that you need to think through race strategy, and understanding if it's worth spending time really focusing on your weaknesses, or maybe those weaknesses are just places that that might not be able to improve as much as you'd like, and you can just focus more on your strengths. So if you're what's called below average, or even well below average, that doesn't mean that you're not good at those durations. What it really means is that you're really just better at the shorter end of that spectrum. So again, with the fatigue profile, we're looking at a range within those durations. So for VO2 max, that might mean that you're just better at the 3-minute effort than you are at the 8-minute effort. So there's room for growth in terms of fatigue. So you can push your fatigue resistance further out and deeper into that duration, and that's going to mean that you, if you can last longer, obviously that means your fatigue resistance is higher. So the great thing about below average or well below average is that there's tremendous potential for growth in terms of developing those weaknesses, and that can be done through training. If you're average, you'd expect to see very consistent degradation across those durations, right? So through that spectrum, regardless of the physiological system that we're focused on, you're not going to see any huge spikes. You're not going to see any big drops. You're just going to see a fairly consistent drop-off as the duration kind of goes on. And this is kind of your all-arounder rider, right? This is a rider who's pretty good at a little bit of everything. Fairly strong sprint, fairly strong FTP, or watts per kilogram for their individual self. Again, this average rider, because they're at a baseline, they can really decide based on their racing goals what it is they want to improve, right? So if they want to be a crit racer, they can really ramp up and work the neuromuscular and see a lot of gains there. If they want to be a time trialist or an endurance racer, you can work on the lactate threshold, those 20, 60, 90-minute powers, and they can see a lot of gains there. So kind of a good jumping off point, so to speak, if you're getting those average numbers for any of the durations. If you're above average, or there's even well above average, then this means that you're showing extremely strong watts per kilogram at the top end of that spectrum for each duration. So that's great, because that's a very clear strength, right? If you come back with above average or well above average readings, that's obviously a place that you're very strong. The downside to that is it probably means that you're so strong that that's going to be where you're always strongest. You're not going to be able to to bolster or strengthen those weaknesses that you see enough to override or come close to the strengths that you're showing. So if you're well above average for VO2 max, that's always going to be your strength, and neuromuscular is probably never going to come close to the level of performance that you've already shown for VO2 max, as an example. So kind of a blessing and a curse. Good that you're very strong at it, probably means that you should just focus on that and pick your races and ultimately your race strategy based on those natural strengths. So power versus fatigue. So we've gone into the fatigue profile. We've talked to a fair degree of detail about what that means and why it's good. The difference between the power profile and the fatigue profile is really important to understand. The distinction is really critical. The power profile looks across the 4 durations that we talked about. So across the neuromuscular, the anaerobic capacity, the VO2, and the lactate threshold. The fatigue profile compares durations within those time periods, and ultimately the idea or the intent and goal is that by comparing within those ranges, we're able to more closely and more accurately reflect the systems that are at work in the body. So the power profile is kind of your base level. That starts to give you some insight, like I said, into those gross strengths and weaknesses. The fatigue profile dives in and starts to really pinpoint exactly what's going on in the body. Where is it within each of those systems that your body begins to fatigue, and how is it that you can use that information to better inform your training and your racing strategy. So if you can combine the power profile and kind of the oversight and the insight that it allows, and then dig deeper into the fatigue resistance, you're able to really craft an extremely strong, again, strategy in terms of what you should do from a training perspective, and then you can carry that over into race day strategy as well. So that's all I have. I'll kick it back over to Justin. We'll go to questions and answers. I know there's a lot of information here, so let me know if there's anything I can clarify. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor. Back here on the screen. So interesting. You, if I understand, you're saying there that your answer to can your weaknesses become your strengths, you would say within a given profile, so like let's say VO2, let's say if you're really strong at the 3-minute VO2 but weak at the 8-minute, you could probably train out to the 8-minute and improve that. But let's say looking larger at a macro level, if you are a really, really good sprinter comparatively to your, let's say you're, or maybe let's go the other direction. Let's say you're a really good time trialist and you just really don't have any 15-second power. You would basically say, sure, you can improve your sprint, but it's never, you're not going to reach the point where your sprint is relatively better than your time trialing. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And within, like you said, within a certain range, I think the key to kind of this entire approach, like I said, is one is individualization. So looking specifically at what it is or what's going on specific to you as a rider, and secondly, and really I think for training in general, it's about maximizing your time. So it's not worth your time to force efforts that you may not be well designed for, right? You might want to be a fantastic sprinter and that's all you've ever dreamed about. It might just not be in the cards, right? And you might just want to be a great time trialist, and you might just want to play to your strengths. And like you said, yes, your sprint strength can get better, but it might not be, it might not ever get to the above average or the well above average. And so that should help an athlete decide where it is they spend their time, right? And what races and what types of racing they do. So yeah, I think that's great. That's what's great about the fatigue profile and looking at fatigue resistance is you can really boil all that down and say, okay, this is what's going on in my body, and this is how my body responds to these efforts, and ultimately where I should be spending my time to maximize my gains.
Very good. I think one further scenario I'd look at, I think might be a good illustration here, where your weakness might be holding you down in a race. You might not be able to improve that weakness to a point of being your strong suit, but working on it can help you better achieve results with your strong suit. So let me be specific about that, because that was a lot of general wording. So I'm a sprinter. I know I have a really strong 5-second power, but I'm never at the end. I'm never at the right point in the race where I can blow, I'm either too fatigued at that point, or I'm just not there to be able to deliver that sprint. And I'd say, in this case, it sounds like, and maybe you can correct me if I'm completely off base here, this person would probably need to work on their threshold. So basically, they don't get, if they can increase their threshold more, they'll be more rested and better positioned towards the end of the race to deliver that sprint, because they're just getting too worn out during the race, and then they can't deliver the sprint. They may not time trial off the front, but they'll be at the right point in the right place.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's the key is, the critical piece of that is using the information you have to inform race strategy, right? So yeah, maybe the sprint's not there, but maybe there's something that you can do to put yourself in a better position. You can use your strengths to position yourself better in the race. So maybe that's being in position earlier. Yeah, like you said, maybe you're not, TT off the front, but maybe, you can start a break early on, because you can time trial, at 105% of FTP for 10 minutes. And then, yeah, like you said, then if you've worked on your sprint a little bit, you've used your strengths to put you in position in that race to then produce an effort that could be race winning. So I think you also want to use it to you definitely want to use it to alter or think more critically about your race strategy and using those strengths to position yourself better in a race. Because, ultimately at the end of the day, if you're an athlete that is training to race day performance is the measure of success, right? It's not the category you're in, it's not the training, it's not your FTP. If you're training to be a racer, then it's how well you did in a race, and so all of this is being used to inform the decisions that you make about how to be better at racing.
Yeah, I think that's a great example where you know your strength, you know where you would break down, and you use your strengths to affect the race dynamics. So a person who knows they're not going to be the best sprinter has to break up the pack throughout the race and drop the people who would destroy him in the sprint so that he can contend in a smaller group at the end. Exactly. Where maybe, they're not
at that point, when you can break the field down like that, you're probably, to your point, if you can get to the end of the race with a smaller field, those athletes are the ones that probably have the same strengths and weaknesses that you do, right? If you've seen from the fatigue profile that you're really strong at 8 minutes and you can produce VO2 efforts at 8 minutes, then you might launch, you might break the field up at 8 minutes. And so the people left at the end are going to be the people that are performing in that above average or well above average category for that longer duration or extended fatigue within the VO2 max kind of realm. But they're also going to be the people that probably, like you, don't have fantastic sprint capabilities. So you're able to kind of weed out the field, and you're able to position yourself in a group of people that are like-minded or like ability. So yeah, and I mean that's the way you want to think about race strategy. You know, as you look at this fatigue profile, you can start to break it down and really think about, okay, when am I going to launch an attack? You know, how do I break up the field? How do I disrupt the front? You know, when we're 10 minutes out, when we're 8 minutes out, 5 minutes out, whatever it is. So yeah, a lot of power in the fatigue profile when you start to apply those durations to what that looks like for race day performance.
Very good. Well, we are out of time for today. Thank you so much, Taylor, for coming on. Your insights have been very helpful, very interesting. If you guys want to contact Taylor, his website is thomasendurancecoaching.com. He's on Twitter at endurance_coach. And you can email him directly at taylor@thomasendurancecoaching.com. For this previous episodes of What's Up with Power or any other episodes you may have missed, you want to catch up with on the road, we now have a podcast. We take all this content, package the audio, and make it available for you to listen to at your own leisure. So find your favorite podcasting app or platform and search for The Endurance Lab, and you'll find it. This episode should be up there later today for replay, or maybe to share with your friends who weren't able to watch live. The video is also available live here on Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube for replay as well. So once again, thank you for coming. We hope to see you again next week. And with that, we will be signing off.